don't know how many of you really missed Mass when we weren't able to go, but I have to tell you what, I am so thankful that I'm able to go to Mass again. When I think back about it, it seems so unreal, everything that happened during this time. It was most apparent because I'd been to a retreat the weekend before it all came down. And two of our friends went to Colorado for spring break. And I remember them texting and saying, we don't get to go to Mass on Sunday. And I thought, oh my gosh, can you imagine that? And I told my husband, they don't get to go to Mass on Sunday. We'll pray for them. We'll pray for them because who couldn't go to Mass? So we got up that Sunday morning, drove in to 8:30 Mass like we usually do. The parking lot was empty. We were a little on the late side, I have to say, but nobody's there but the priest saying, you can't come in. We're not having Mass. And I remember thinking, this can't be. Let's see if there's another church that's having Mass. And we did. We drove to another church. There was no Mass. And we went home and I thought, what do we do? What do we do with this? It's Sunday and I'm not going to Mass. But surely they'll have daily Mass. I thought, I can go to Mass tomorrow, we'll have daily Mass. Well, guess what? There was no Mass the next day either. So I don't remember exactly how long it took, but you all probably know that the online Masses started, the live streaming Masses, and I was so thankful for that. And when I first started going to Mass online, I was very reverent. I mean, I knelt and I prayed. I paid a lot of attention, and the hardest thing for me and the most interesting thing for me was when they did the spiritual communion, because that made such a big impact on me. I thought, spiritual communion, why would I want to do that? I don't understand what that would be. After several days, I realized if spiritual communion was all I was going to have, I better really get into spiritual communion and come Holy Spirit. I'm ready for this spiritual communion. And you know what? I did feel that. I did feel so appreciative of the fact that I had been able to take communion in the past. And I really had kind of become a daily communicant. I love to go to Mass every day because I think having that communion makes me a better person. So anyway, back to the live streaming. I'm live streaming Mass. I'm taking my spiritual communion. But after a couple weeks, I started watching Mass, quite honestly. I mean, I'd bring my coffee in and I would watch Mass and I'd think, what is happening to me? So I did my spiritual communion. I did go to Mass every day and looked around to different Masses that I might want to go to. But when I heard that we finally were going to go back to Mass, the joy I felt was unbelievable. So to the first day of Mass, I go to the first day of Mass, I pull into the parking lot, and I am like probably a kid going to the first day of kindergarten. I could hardly wait, throw my clothes on, get out the door, go to Mass. I got to the parking lot and I thought, oh my gosh, now what do I do? Because I didn't know what to expect when I went in. And I don't know about you, but I walked in and here's this squirter thing for your hands with your sanitizer. And I thought, oh, they're looking at me like I'm going to sanitize my hands 10 times, you guys. I kid you not. I'm sticking my hand under and it squirts on the floor. And I think, okay, I can do this. I finally got it in my hands and got it washed. And I had my mask on and my glasses were fogging up. And I thought, oh, it's okay because I'm at Mass. And I looked to the right and there was my spot. My daily Mass spot was there. And my little friends that were different places were there. I recognized them from the eyes up. We had our masks on. So I got to my spot and sat down, and you cannot believe the peace I felt there. And I had my clean hands and I had my mask on and my glasses were fogged, but I was at Mass. And I like to read my Magnificat when I go to Mass. So I read through the first reading. I listened to the first reading. I listened to the psalm and prayed it because I could never remember. I always have to read it because I can't remember what the psalm responsorial is frequently. So I got through that, and then the gospel came and it hit me. That's when I think it really hit me that I was at Mass and I was getting ready to participate in the Passion. I was getting ready to have Jesus and have the real deal. I wasn't having spiritual communion. I was going to actually take communion, and it hit me right here. I thought, I will never take communion again for granted. I will never, Jesus, forget how beautiful this is and be so appreciative of what I'm about to partake in. And when you go to the front, I forgot what I was supposed to do with my mask, but I really didn't care, because I was taking communion, and it was the most beautiful thing. You know, it's new. It's not as spontaneous. I don't just, I don't go up to the front, take communion. I'm in line and I'm social distancing, but I don't care. I don't care because I have the Eucharist. And I've been so blessed to be able to go back. And, when I was missing that, I feel like when I take communion, Jesus is part of my DNA. I take that every day. And it's really hard for me to be a bad person when I have Jesus in me every day. So the Mass is different. My hands are clean. I'm probably cleaner than I've ever been. I'm very clean. And I wear my mask and I take my communion and I thank God every day for it. So I hope you've had the opportunity to go to Mass again. And if you haven't, I hope you'll take the opportunity. Someone will show you how to put your hand sanitizer on if it's a new machine. But you will take communion and Jesus will be with you. And thank God for that.